Welcome back to Adventure and Repeat. Glad to see you here. So if this is your first time here, make sure you like the video, comment, tell us what you think, tell us what you want to hear about, and subscribe. We got a lot of great content coming, a lot of great content on the channel, so be sure to check it out. So what we're going to talk about today is our 6-month, 7,000 mile update. So over these 7,000 miles, we have 1,500 miles of it towing with our travel trailer camper and our boat. So that's around 25% with towing. Our general fuel economy that we've gotten just driving the truck, I find tends to be around 15 to 17 miles per gallon. So that's just normal driving back and forth to work, things like that. I have set on the record of the truck on the dash, it tells me 19.1. I think that's great. I think that's wonderful to be able to set that kind of record over a 25-mile rolling average. So that was on one of our longer road trips on some back roads. So it worked out pretty well. Our towing average. So this is pulling our 28-foot travel trailer camper. It weighs about 6,000 pounds, and it is just a brick. It's pulling a brick through the air, so it does not cut through the wind very well. So if you had like a tractor on a flatbed trailer, yeah, you're going to get better fuel economy or the same, even if you're at 12 or 16,000 pounds, because it's more aerodynamic. So pulling the brick through the air, I was getting, per the truck, this is on the trailering app, so it actually documents this over the entire life, 9.41 miles per gallon. So not bad. I am really not upset about that. That's very similar to what we were getting with our half-ton Tahoe pulling the exact same camper. So over this time, I know these engines have always talked about having oil consumption issues with a 6.6 liter gas engine. So this engine has had no oil consumption at all so far. I have done 2 oil changes on this truck in the 7,000 miles. Per the book, they say I can go 7,500 miles per oil change, even on the first one. I think that's excessive for especially break-in, where the most metal shavings that are created in an engine is in that initial break-in procedure, especially within the first 500 to 1,000 miles. That's, to me, very crazy to be pushing it that far, especially with just AC Delco filter and oil. I mean, that's not spectacular stuff. It's good, but not break-in 7,500 mile worthy, I think. So I've done 2 changes. The first one was at 1,400 miles, gave it some time to break in, everything like that. And I did do the first oil change before I did any towing. So that's what it calls for in the book, is do the first oil change before you do any towing. It doesn't really say anything about getting 500 miles in, but I wanted to make sure I had all that in first. So the first oil change was at 1,400 miles. The second one I did at 5,000 miles. So I kind of doubled the life of it. And I wanted to do it early just because you still get metal shavings throughout this break-in period. So I'm very confident that the 5,000 mile mark, I'm good to go for a while. I'll probably do one before the next season, for the winter season, before I start plowing anyway, just to be done and have it done and taken care of. I did do my oil changes, not with the AC Delco oil and filter, stuff like that you get at the dealership. I went to AMSOIL. I prefer to have AMSOIL. I really like their stuff. It works very well. I've had great luck with it. So I just went straight to AMSOIL. I didn't even go back for my free oil change. I just take care of it myself, and I just went straight to AMSOIL. So we've had AMSOIL on this truck basically since new. So a lot of great features, a lot of great things. I've really enjoyed having the truck. It's worked out really well for us so far. Some of our big likes. What we noticed with our big road trips and things like that, where we're gone many days and doing a lot of traveling, is since we have the up-level dash and the bucket seats, you have this little dump tray kind of thing is what I call it, right in front of the cup holders. It's actually worked out very well when we're traveling, we're doing stuff. You got tickets, you got to put stuff down for bridge fares, things like that. It's just a great place to catch everything you're doing throughout the day, and you can clean out at the end of the day. It keeps stuff where you need it to be. You can have odds and ends, things like that. It actually works out very nice to have that dump tray. Another key thing I really, really like, and I knew I was going to like, but I didn't realize how nice it was, is having these bucket seats. You get the wireless charger in the center. That has been phenomenal, because we were gone for a solid week. I never had to take my phone and plug it in once through that entire week. And that's using my phone constantly. That's traveling, using GPS, things like that, to just be able to take the phone, drop it right in the wireless charger, and I never have to worry about charging my phone. It will uplink, and I can have my map. So the wireless charger has been really cool to have versus having to actually plug stuff in with a cord before and have cords in the way and things like that. My wife could still use the charging ports that were up on the front there of the dash, and she could still use her phone as she needed because the ports are actually off to the side. So they're not even in the way of the dump tray and things like that. So it actually works out very well on the passenger side of it as well. And in the back, on the back side of the center console, there are 2 charging ports as well. So the kids can actually have their tablets on those super long road trips and stay plugged in the back versus having plugged in random spots. Our Tahoe was actually kind of terrible for it because it only had 1 cigarette lighter charger there and then 1 in the back. So it was actually not very easy to keep either of them charged at the same time. So it was actually very inconvenient with the Tahoe, being a 2015 Tahoe it was. So this truck is actually very nice and works out very well for that. Going with that theme, the cordless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, that is phenomenal. Not having to hook up a cord every time you get in the truck to put up your maps and your GPS and things like that has been awesome. So I just left my Bluetooth on, and the truck automatically connects to it for because I have an Android phone, so Android Auto boots right up there and it goes there, and I have all my maps up right there. It's been great not having to constantly plug in a cord and things like that. When I'm ready to leave the truck, just grab it, throw it in my pocket, and go. So to have it being cordless and a wireless charger, I don't have to do anything. Yeah, corded it would charge too and things like that, but cordless, it's made the transition so seamless. It was great. I really enjoyed it. And another thing is, when we're on these long road trips, we had extra people here, so we actually have to have a full adult sit in the back center seat. And one thing we really liked and really noticed was with our Tahoe, the car seats were very close to the front seats as well. So for the adult to get in, they had to get the adult in first, then the kids get in, and the adult sometimes had to close the door depending on who was outside still the vehicle. So the fact that there's actually more space between the car seat and the actual seat back, because this cab is deeper than the Tahoes and older generations of trucks. So with this T1 truck, it's actually really nice to have that extra space where you can actually get past a kid or a toddler in their car seat, and to have the extra legroom and space back there has been very nice. I know I did a review video talking about how nice the back seat was, but this was actually just using it. It was actually very nice and convenient, especially when you had to store kind of extra stuff because we had an open bed. So towels, things like that, when we go traveling, it was a nice way to have extra space in front of their seats to store stuff. Versus the Tahoe, yeah, we had a full back hatch. We got used to that, and that was kind of nice. So to not have to worry about that, having that extra space, it was really cool. So really enjoyed the truck. It's been really good. The ride quality is good. It's not stellar, but it's good. So on the dislike side, one of the things I found out I really don't like over the last 1,000 miles is the shocks kind of suck. So this is not a Z71 package. This is a straight up standard package with plow prep, things like that. So I don't even think Rancho is like a high-end name brand anyway, so the Z71 package with the Rancho shocks, I've used their shocks before and other stuff like that. It's not bad, but I don't consider them any kind of top tier shock that's better. So the shocks on this, they really suck. You go any kind of off-roading, the truck just lumbers around and you're getting pitched and thrown in all over the place. It's not fun to be on some rutty dirt roads and 2-track and things like that. The truck just is all over the place. The shocks do not control it at all. And then when you're towing, it does okay, but I run the camper without sway control and load leveling bars and things like that. So I just have a straight hitch on the back of that. It's not that heavy. It's only 600 pounds. So 600 pounds is not a heavy hitch tongue load to me, especially when this truck is rated for 1,600 pounds on the tongue. So when you start hitting some bumps, you feel the back end really kind of floating a lot, and it feels like it's not under control when it's bouncing. It's still bouncing up and down straight, so it's fine, but our Tahoe had MagneRide, even being a factory shop, but still the MagneRide, it controlled everything phenomenal. So to have these shocks kind of bleh, I was disappointed. So maybe Ranchos would be better. I don't know as a factory option. I kind of miss the old days where they gave Bilsteins as an option for, that's what they used to throw in the trucks that had these packages and things like that. So shocks probably will get replaced before they're due, or they're probably just going to die out pretty quick, just how much we use them and abuse them for what we pull and do things with. So the shocks I'm not happy with, but they work. They work. Another thing I've not, some of my dislikes, maybe I'm just grabbing straws, is the tires. They work, they're smooth, and if you're just on pavement and highway all day, it's fine. But I transition between gravel roads and highway and traveling and things like that, so we have a problem where these tires just throw rocks like crazy. They hold on to them and chuck them. Even the tires have been broken at 7,000 miles. They shouldn't be grabbing and sticking in the rocks like they are, and it just chunks rocks at this truck all the time. It's just depressing, and they still hang on to them even at expressway speeds. If you go from a dirt road and get right on the expressway, you'll sit there and get a bad vibration in the back end. You'll feel them tires up and down bouncing because it's still holding on to those rocks at 75, 80 miles an hour. It's just, they ride smooth if there's no rocks in them. But if there's rocks in them, they are out of balance, and it's not pleasant. So we'll see how they wear over time. I mean, they're not bad. I've ran BFG AT2s, and they don't throw rocks and hold rocks like this. I mean, the first 1,000 miles, yeah, they did, because the rubber was still sticky and soft, so it actually held on to it. Once the dust settled in the tires, they stopped holding rocks. So you may get a couple rocks here or there chunked off when you had some big ones when you came off a dirt road that was freshly graded, but never had problems with those. Those were noisy, but they never held on to rocks, and they were always in balance. So kind of disappointed with the tires in these. I mean, they're load rate E, but so are the other BFGs I've had. I've actually had better luck with Intercos not holding on to rocks and riding just as smooth. So Interco mud terrain tires being just as smooth, but not holding rocks like this. So another dislike has been the trailer brake recall that has now been put out on these. So what it was is in 24, they redid the trailer brake module. So in the back of the truck underneath the bed, they redesigned it, maybe a cost cutting, things like that. But it appears they didn't put a diode in with it to save some money, I guess. So in 23 and before, it didn't matter. But in 24, if your camper had solar panels or any kind of outside charging, or if you hooked up your truck with a camper still hooked up to the box because you're just charging up because you're running air conditioner, things like that, you'll actually get a fault and it'll say trailer brakes disconnected on your truck because it's sensing that charge voltage going forward and it doesn't like it. So if a camper had solar panels on it, because they can have solar panels to keep their battery charged and things like that while you're going down the road, the truck will always send power back. But if it sees that power back there higher than the battery voltage, because it says smart alternators, so they drop. If it sees higher back there and trying to send it forward, it kind of takes a dump and goes, I don't like this, and says trailer brakes disconnected or check trailer brakes. So the recall is just putting in the old module because it worked just fine. And that's what everybody was doing beforehand. So you either had to rewire your trailer with a diode, or you had to buy the older brake controller, or the trailer brake controller, or now they have a recall out on it. So that'll get taken care of too. And with recalls, they talk about the tailgate recall. I don't have a multi-pro tailgate, so far it hasn't affected me, but it's been fine. Still miss the old-fashioned handle, but it works just fine. I'm not upset by it. It's been convenient some days. So other than that, that is kind of an overview of what I've found over the last 7,000 miles. Really enjoyed the truck. I really have. Going from a Tahoe to this, it's been nice. The creature comforts, the dash, everything's laid out very well. There's plenty of space in the center console for storage and throwing stuff in there. I really like the truck. It's been good to us. There's plenty of space for storage, plenty of power for all the towing that we do, which we're not pushing heavy loads, but it's been comfortable. It is pretty much a night and day difference between a sway controlled and torsion bars and a fully loaded LTZ Tahoe to this just standard truck on a hitch ball. It's been night and day difference. It's been a lot better. I've really enjoyed it. It pulls like a dream. So it's been great. I've enjoyed the truck. Yeah, it's been good to us. I really enjoyed it, and I don't regret this. So hopefully that helps, and that gives a good overview of what we've been seeing for the last 7,000 miles. A lot of good stuff here. So other than that, hope you guys liked the video. Comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what else you want to hear about. Tell us if you've got one, what your experiences are. We'd love to hear about it. And if you had any problems with yours, tell us too. Maybe somebody else is having problems too, or we can talk about it. It'd be nice to know. And don't forget to subscribe. We got a lot of great content coming, a lot of great content already on the channel, so be sure to check it out. And remember, have a great adventure.